Want to know how Brene Brown, yes, Brene Brown, almost derailed my dream of becoming a best selling author? That's right, the Queen of Bravery almost stopped me from moving forward with my own dream on writing a book about the same topic. Now, in this video, I'm actually sharing how to conquer your inner critic and actually put them to good use. So, today I'm focusing on comparisonitis, which is where basically you pitch yourself against someone who you see as more famous than you, more skilled than you, more anything than you, someone who's more shiny than you, and actually what you can do about it. So that comparisonitis can also feed imposter syndrome. It can stop you from moving forward with your dreams. It can actually stop you from raising your voice and really living up to your purpose. Now, there are other sides of your inner critic, like the chit chat or the mean girl, where self-doubt kicks in and you actually start to question your worth or whether you're enough. But I really want to focus on comparisonitis and how you can actually flip the script and put it to good use. This is something that you've experienced, that comparing you to someone else. I'd love you to type relatable in the chat so that you know that you're not alone, you know that I've seen you, and you know that you don't have to be brave by yourself either. First, before I dive into this chunky topic, I wanted to give a big thank you to my subscribers, and thank you so much for coming back. I actually do a little happy dance that looks something like this each time someone subscribes, so thank you for being involved in this chain. I really value being part of the journey. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Belle Lockerbie. I am a mum of four in a blended family, a best-selling author of my book Awkward is the New Brave, White Parts Happen, Get Back Up Anyway, a speaker and a transformation coach. And by hitting that like and subscribe button just down here, you'll actually help me reach more women who are looking to speak up, step up, or start over in business and in life, so that they can be brave and courageous in sharing their skills and their story too. And then their voice and their value will actually start lining up a lot more. All right, so back in 2019, I was busy preparing to self-publish my book, Awkward is the New Brave. And as I got closer to sharing my story and hitting my dream, I started to share the name of my book with a really close circle. And I'd be met with comments like this: have you read Brene Brown's book? No, I'm avoiding it. I've seen her TED talk though. Have you followed her on Instagram? No, I really don't want spongy brain. I'm just avoiding Brene altogether, out of respect for Brene's work, not because I think anything else. But I was really focusing on avoiding Brene and spongy brain because I wanted to make sure that I sounded like me. But then someone sent me a post. They shared a link with me, and it was an Instagram post that Brene had put up, and it had the words in there that bound me going tight in my throat, my shoulders clenching up, feeling like maybe the world should swallow me up, and I freaked. So I sent my publishing consultant, Linda, a message, like a panic message. So I'm sure that you guys can relate to that. And I sat there and I'm like, picking up my phone, Linda, what do I do? Brene's just put a post out saying, like, around awkward, brave, and kind. That's my words. People are going to think that I am a Kmart knockoff of Brene. What do I do? This is all these imaginary people. People are going to think I'm a fake and a ripoff, a hack. Or do I breathe and take it as a sign? Thankfully for Linda and for having that brave bestie in the space that I needed, I actually got a message back saying, take it as a sign. It's a good sign. A lot of people do say that comparison is the thief of joy, and it can be, but not always. So the good news is your inner critic and comparisonitis can actually be put to use. Here's how. So number one, when that voice kicks in and you start comparing yourself to someone else, it's actually a signal for growth. Number two is it's actually looking for validation. And this is where you can start to either gain control or lose control, because it's feeding something for you, and it could be feeding a really old story. Number three, congratulations, you've got proof, and how amazing that you have things in common with someone in the world who is amazing. It's proof that the world wants to hear your story, and it's proof that people are interested in the topic that you're interested in as well. Now, what I do nowadays, and what I even did back then, is I look for differences because that's about how you can calm your inner critic. And it's really about catching those thoughts and challenging them and then choosing what you want to do with them. So, comparisonitis for me is where my little inner voice gets itchy, jumpy, and reaches for the jar of Nutella. Hello, stress eating. Can you relate to that? So, if I was to do a deep dive into the bravery space and having courageous conversations and helping women to really find their voices and to step up and speak up, I would also find Margie Worrell, who I've had readers of my book tell me about after my book, who also talks about bravery and courage. I could find Ash Ambroget, who's a little bit um, more sweary. I'm not really that sweary, and a little bit like just go and do it and burn it all down and get after whatever you want. So I really needed to make sure that I focused on what makes me different. And keeping with Brene and focusing on the differences between myself and Brene Brown, here's how we differ, and here's some things that we have in common as well. So, number one, my book is a memoir. It's from a lived experience on being brave, on how to be brave, and having a year of bravery. Now, if you want to have a year of bravery, you don't need to wait for the next year to tick around. You can start anytime, and there's a link to my program below. Brene is a researcher. So she does the deep dive, talks to people about bravery and vulnerability. So she's first and foremost a researcher and a storyteller, whereas my experience is lived. I'm Australian. Brene is American. I survived child abuse. Brene has actually talked to survivors of child abuse. We've both done work within the community where she has done social work. I have done work with female entrepreneurs wanting to start their business. We both pray and cuss, although I try not to swear, but I'd rather be truthful about that because the fact is sometimes I do. I just try and be very conscious of who's in earshot when that may happen. We both have a history of alcoholism in our families, and while Brene has celebrated 25 years of sobriety, I have one cocktail on date night with my husband once a week on a Tuesday. Otherwise, I don't drink. I have two biological kids. Brene has two biological kids. I became a blended family at the end of last year in 2021. I married my now husband. Brene was and is still married to the same man since 1994. I have been a stepchild. Brene has not been a stepchild. I haven't read any of Brene's books yet. She hasn't, to my knowledge, read mine yet. I know who Brene is. She doesn't know who I am yet. So as I do that, I would actually encourage you to grab a list and write down qualities about yourself, experiences about yourself, things that you have done and who you have helped, and then write some of those traits and then pop the people across the top. So this is a little example of what I did when I was comparing myself with Ash, Brene, Margie, and me, so that I can see where we have things in common, just in case one day, there's like a brave convention and we all get to talk about stuff, so that you can basically know that you have your points of difference and you can move forward. Questioning your comparisonitis actually helps you regain control of your thoughts and your inner critic. And it actually helps you to recognize why you are firing off in the first place. Is it this story about validation, or is there this underlying story that you're not good enough, but you are good enough? Now that you've put that comparisonitis and that inner critic to purpose and put them to use, you'll actually be able to get back to your own purpose and sharing your own message and your own story and standards with the world. So it's totally fine, and it's actually helpful if someone shares the same purpose and the same message with you, because it is that proof that your story is needed. There will always be differences between you and someone else, differences that are worth celebrating, differences that can show you a path forward, instead of actually shutting down your progress. So just to recap, when your inner critic wants to compare the amazing you and cause despair, here's what you can do. Number one, acknowledge that you as a person are growing, that it's a sign of growth, and growing is good. Number two, it's seeking validation, and that's normal. Number three, you have proof. Your spin, your story, your way needs a voice, because other people are looking for those stories out there. Out of what I've shared with you today, What's been your aha moment from today's video? Now, if you'd like more help on being brave and courageous and learning how to structure the right conversations for your situation or dealing with that inner critic, I'll pop some links below, including one to my Behaving Bravely program and also to my book. And if you are picking up my book, you can always pick up one of Brené's at the same time. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button so that I can help more women make sure that their voice and their values and their worth are lining up. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Oh, and remember, if you have a question that you would like me to answer around how to be brave and move forward or step up in life or business, make sure that you fill in the form that's linked below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.